y'all.
All right, all right, all
I
right.
hope the grammar police don't come for me because I called this show early voting in full effect, and I'm not sure if I used the right effect. If it was effect with an A or effect with the E.
I think both will work.
So that
Both
what
will
I
work.
called it. So grammar police, leave me alone. English is my second language. Maybe that's not an excuse.
I think
I
it works.
think it's right, but I'm not sure.
No, it's right. I think it's right.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is right.
All right. All right.
So we back into our regularly scheduled programs.
A little early today, but it's gonna be like that probably until the end of the semester because your girl got to teach on Wednesday sometime.
Listen, we all about making sure the children get their education,
Get
okay?
their education.
Get their education. So today, we all about voting. So next Tuesday is round the corner. We early voting.
6 days, 6 more days, people. Yes.
Listen, like we were at the Democratic rally on last night in Miami.
Yes. What were your thoughts on that? What's your feedback?
So the theme I think was tell your friends, tell your mamas, tell your neighbors, tell all the people you know to go out and vote. That was the theme. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the major things. And then the other thing that I took away was the biggest messaging for the Democrats was the reproductive policies that have been been implemented in all these southern states run by Republican governors. As you know, we're in a midterm election, right? And so, before I forget, like, share, and subscribe on our page. We usually do from now on, we're doing our show and we do a recap if we have an interview on Instagram. So go on that, that page as well. And tell your friends to come on over and check us out every so often. All right. So back to what we were talking about. My takeaway, I thought it was a good crowd. I think
so. Just a little bit of a background. So the Democratic Party, I think it was Florida Democratic Party that put it together, had an event at Florida Memorial University on yesterday where they had the top Dems, Charlie Crist, Val Demings, the electors, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they're running for re-election, Sheila Shefferless McCormick, Jamie Harrison was there. Keegan Michael Key was one of the celebrity guests, along with Jennifer Lewis, were all there. So they were just really there trying to encourage Democrats to vote up and down the ticket for other Democratic candidates. So that's the backstory of what it is. There was, of course, some special invited guests that was there. There was a lot of electeds from Miami-Dade County and Broward County that was there. I saw Marsha Ellison, the president of Broward County NAACP, was there, along with some other folks. We had Naomi Blamur, who's the candidate for Commission of Agriculture. She was in the House. Marlene Bastien, that's number 76 on the ballot in Miami-Dade County, running for County Commission seat 2, was there. I don't know if if there are any other candidates that you saw that you want to shout out, but it was just an event with a lot of Democratic candidates. So I'll let Narnee talk about what her take and her feelings and flavor was of what that is, but just to understand what we're talking about, we're in a room full of some heavy hitter Democrats, along with like-minded folks, community people, special invited guests, and everything like that. Right. Trying to encourage folks to get out to vote and vote blue. Call your friends and all them people, cousins, relatives, enemies, all your people. So, what were your take? How do you think they did with the event, and what are your thoughts?
So, another candidate that was there was Christina
Olivo. She's running one of the Diaz-Balards in Miami-Dade.
Yeah, support that sister. Support that sister because she's about that servant life. Support that sister. All right. So my takeaway was I want to compare it a little bit with rallies that the Republican parties have versus what the Democrats have, only because I want to give a little bit contextual context. We were well behaved.
Got more money.
We were well behaved.
Yes, we were.
We were cohesive. And then the other thing that I picked up too is that we had because it was on Florida Memorial College, there was a lot of young people there. They were engaged. They were very versed on the issues, and they were about voting. I think these new
what they call them? What are they? Gen Zs, Ys? What are they? What generation this is right now?
I want to. Isn't that like the Gen Zs? That's the Gen Z. Well, no, my daughter's in the Gen Z group, so we're the X. I don't know nothing about that, but anyway, they're the younger versions of us, and they were very engaged. They really wanted to see the president. In the crowd when we were standing in, they were like, "Where's Joe Biden? We want Biden." They were fired up and
ready to vote.
Ready to vote. They were ready to vote. I think for me, that one of so I'm gonna talk about the good stuff first. I thought that the message was consistent. I thought that the way that it was organized was organized to me in a good way. What I would have liked to see was all of the statewide candidates to be there. I know that it was Charlie Crist and Val Demings, and they are important candidates. But there's other candidates running in the state of Florida statewide, like the Ayala Aramis. I'm hoping I'm saying her name correctly.
Yeah, Aramis Ayala.
Aramis Ayala. You had Naomi Blermere, who's running statewide. What's the one who's running for the CFO again?
Adam Hattersley.
Adam Hattersley is running. I would have liked to see those people because I'm not sure that those young people are aware of those positions and are not as versed as those positions as the senator and the governor. You know what I mean? But those positions make a material difference in the state of Florida. And one of the things that Joe Biden mentioned was make sure the down ballot candidates, they're part of that down ballot candidate group. So I would have liked to see them. And I'm hoping that as they continue to push the momentum for voting, that they highlight those candidates as well, because they make a material difference. And clearly the ones who are in place now, except for the Department of Agriculture, has not been doing the work of the people. They've been doing the work of Ron DeSantis. And so that is very, very important to kind of point that out. I like the spirit. I like the fever of people. I like that they had the two celebrities come in and clearly show that there is a difference in what's going on in the state. There were some things that were said by the president and some of the candidates that were there, and some of even the elected officials, that was not all the way the truth. But not that it was. Pardon?
For example,
when Biden was talking about I think it was towards the end in terms of the insurance and something. There was something was talking about some monies he was saying, but there was some omission in that. But I get what the point is, but I just feel like I think the Democrats should really start shifting and being absolutely transparent with their party. And what I mean by that is that don't give some information and not give the whole full context of what it looks like. Because I know that people are going to be like, well, why can't we just get it now? Then the question should be answered. Why can't we just get it now? And be honest about why we can't get for whatever reason, whatever they try to. I just can't remember right now exactly, but there was something that was mentioned towards the end of the rally, and that wasn't a full picture of what that was. Okay. And I'm pretty sure they didn't give the full picture because people would have been asking why we couldn't get it. But what was your thoughts? How did you feel about it?
So I agree with you that they should have had the down ballot candidates there. I mean, I guess I understand it being the moment for Charlie Crist and Val Demings or whatever, but this really, since it was billed as a Democratic event, the moment should have been for all of those top Democratic candidates. I could see how they couldn't bring in all of the local ones because it's just so many local candidates that are running, but at least those top, I guess 5 or 6 positions that in the state that are so important, and considering that, it's so expensive to run statewide. And this was a good opportunity to, give them that visibility that would have helped, because it was cameras all over the place, right? That would have given them that visibility, get their name out there, put them on people's radars for them to talk about it and, talk about them and, at least look them up and vote for them, right? Because some people are just going to go in and vote dim all the way down. Some people are like, well, I don't know, neither one of these people, I ain't going to vote. But that would have been a good opportunity to, just give them a platform that they would not have been able to get otherwise. Particularly like since some of them were right there in the room, and even the ones who weren't there, if they were given an invitation, I'm sure they would have made an effort to get to a place that to be with the president, get that picture, have that high profile look, have all those cameras in their faces, and it would have been beneficial. I suspect there was some strategical decision that was made on the party on why they weren't there. But then again, if we're trying to get Democrats elected, we need to put in. We should that work should have been put in, and they all should have been there. But then one of the ladies from the FDP, the Florida Democratic Party, who I think they introduced her as being someone that was in charge of outreach and all that kind of stuff. So if there were any failures in that at that event, that would be on. I think she was one of the worst speakers that were there. And then it might have been, and if she's in charge of outreach, I can see why people ain't motivated, because she was talking to everybody's like, who's that? And then people halfway understood, which not that they didn't understand. People weren't paying attention because it's like, who is she? What's she talking about? Whatever, right? And in fact, if you're going to be the outreach person that's responsible for engaging folks and encourage them to vote, you got to be able to hold people's attention. And if you can't do that, I think that's like the first problem. You know what I'm saying? Because at the very least, if you're responsible for outreach, you need to be able to keep people engaged and get them to listen to you. And if you can't do that, then I'm confused. I'm absolutely confused about how it is that's your job. That's your job. So to me, that was problematic. And like you said, I totally agree with you on the, the fact that they didn't have a picture up there with Aramas Ayala, who's running for Attorney General, Naomi Blamur, that's running for Commissioner of Agriculture, and Adams Hattersley, who's running for Chief Financial Officer of the state of Florida. That would have been a powerful moment, and I think it was a lost opportunity.
Yeah, and I think what they neglect, I think the neglecting the fact that just because you say all Democrats and down ballot would include everybody is not as effective as it would be if they were there in the building, in the space, and making sure everybody sees who they are. You know what I mean? Because some people are visual people, even though they see the name and they see Democrat. If they don't, you know what I mean? That I think that is an element of excitement for a person to say, well, I've seen them before. Like, I know what they look like. You know what I mean? Like something like that. But sometimes people need to have a face with a name. They need to be able to see the person. So I think that's a missed opportunity, like you said. I would have liked to see those candidates there, especially running statewide. They should have had an opportunity to be there. But that is my only criticism. Well, and then with omission of information, but that's my only criticism. I think that it would have been, just like you said, a really well-rounded type of rally with the top state running candidates. You know what I mean? But the energy was great. I think I feel like everybody was ready and fired up. It looked like some people haven't voted yet, and then this will give them the momentum to go ahead and handle that today.
Go ahead and vote,
and make it, even make it. I think I saw that the NAACP Broward chapter is creating rides, to get people to the polls. If they need rides, providing rides. I think that's a great incentive to get people energized. And you went to Carver Rancher. Was it Carver Rancher?
Carver Ranches, yeah. That's where I voted on Monday.
Yeah, and you said that there a couple more people came.
A couple more people voted yesterday. And I'm not, I don't want to take no direct, no credit for the people vote, for more people going to that place, that location to go ahead and vote. But the day after, they had that was the highest number of people that had voted there since early voting started, right? So y'all, come on, the lives work. When you go and vote and you let your friends and people know that you went out and vote, you could just get maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 people to go and vote too. Like I said, I'm not going to take full credit for that too, because Dr. Katrina Touchstone was also part of that live, and I believe she shared it on some of her platform too. And so she may have been able to get those people to vote, or maybe it might have happened organically. I don't know. But what I do know is, like, I went there, voted, did a live, and then the next day, 15 additional, I think it was about 15 additional people went ahead and voted at that particular location. They had the highest daily turnout since early voting started. So I want all y'all to do that. When you go out and vote, do a live, let people know where you're at, where you're voting, and you may just encourage one of your friends, your neighbors, the friends of one of your friends, or somebody to go and vote, and just go ahead and just make that move, take that step, because there's no line, no wait right now. Yep. Please, I mean, I really don't want people to wait till the last day to go and vote, because anything could happen that day, and then you don't end up getting a vote, and it's like, dang, like that we don't need, right? So please take that opportunity to go vote early. Like I said, go live. You got these Facebook, Instagram, whatever your platform is, go live. Let people know that you're doing that, because you may just encourage 1, 2, 3, 4 people to go and vote in that location, and every vote counts, and it all makes a difference. Because one of the things that Keegan Michael Key talked about was he reminded us of elections that were decisions that were made over 7 votes, 6 vote, 1 vote. So there were elections that came down to just those small number of votes. So every vote really does count, and we want everybody to exercise that right and take the opportunity to go ahead and do that. And if there's any way that you can help to encourage folks to go out and vote, please just do it. Like I said, go live. Wherever you go and go live. And there's a couple places that I want to go ahead and stop by to see what's happening at those locations, and maybe do a quick live and tell people to come out and vote and show them that the line ain't long. Just go ahead and go there. I would like for the lines to be longer, because we definitely want to increase the number of voters. But just everybody just correct.
Our numbers are still under the. Please go vote. Our numbers in Broward are still under 20%, and I think
it hit 20% yesterday.
Okay,
I think it finally hit 20%. Yeah,
and that I'm glad to hear about that. I'm glad to hear that we're up in numbers, but I would love to see us at 30%. 40%,
75, 80%.
I'm trying to start small so we can move on increments. But I'm just, please just know that. I don't know how else to say this, but even some of the candidates and the president stated yesterday, democracy is on the ballot.
It is.
Reproductive rights are on the ballot.
It is.
There's
a very clear distinction between a lot of those candidates. It's a clear choice. It's very different. I mean, you got election deniers, you got climate change deniers, you got people who just don't care nothing about lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need those people in office. You know that.
And my thing is that that type of rhetoric is not. It's number one. It's all fabricated. It's not real, right? Mm-hmm. And we can bring out receipts to show you that the information that they have is not real. That's one thing. But the second thing is that it's detriment to all of us. It's a detriment to all of us, because if you're trying to undermine a system that's put in place to provide democracy for everybody, then you're not just messing things up for the left, as you would say, or whatever. You're messing that up for yourself,
for the country.
Period. No, I'm just saying they don't even think about themselves in the scenario. That's the problem.
Yeah.
When you start thinking about yourself in the scenario, you start to pull back a little bit on some of the aggression you have on the stance that you're taking, because you have to see yourself in that situation, see yourself in the bigger picture. They don't see themselves in the bigger picture. They don't see themselves in the scenario. And I think I believe that's the most detriment part of it all, because they will just go along with whatever the party says, whatever information they're giving. I mean, I can't remember the guys that we follow on Instagram. Is 2 white guys that go to these Trump rallies on purpose and ask these people these questions.
Those guys are from the Daily Show, like Kleppert, who used to I think his name is Jonathan Kleppert or something like that. Wait,
yes, you're right.
Kleppert. He used to work on a Daily Show with Trevor Noah's show. He goes and he talks to these folks, and it's interesting.
It's very interesting, but it's also it's scary, the fact that people believe so wholeheartedly on conspiracy theories, made up stuff. I mean, there was one where they had an interview where they were saying that how
his name is Jonathan Klepper. Klepper.
Okay. There was one where they were interviewing a guy and they were saying that JFK was coming back. Like they believed it. It was something true. They
coming back from where?
They said that he was going to come back and become president. Like that is their thought process. And
oh
that's
my God. Okay.
I'm telling you that these people believe this with every fiber of their being. They're not joking. They're not pretending. They believe it. The same way that they believe that the president and his children will take over the presidency in succession every 2 years rather than every 4 years. Listen, I'm not making this up. We can even show it on the show one day so you can see this is what these people believe. And they they will die. They will fall on the sword on that information. And they will take us all with them. They're in a sinking ship and they will drag us all with them. So go out and vote, please. I'm begging y'all. Go out and vote. That's all I have to say. Just go out and vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because Lord knows it does.
Democracy is on the ballot. Democracy is on the ballot. It's absolutely it's just very clear what it is that we need to do. And one of the things where, like, even if you were thinking of voting for some of the Republican candidates, now we just saw in the news last week that this guy went into Nancy Pelosi's house and beat her husband up, hit him in the head with a hammer. Information is coming out that he was unconscious for 3 minutes before the police came and all kind of stuff, right? And the Republicans are not denouncing that behavior. I'm like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're like not a supporter of that candidate, of Democrats or whatever, like you still have to have some sense of humanity, right? You get a 44-year-old guy that comes into 80-something-year-old person's house and hit him in the head with a hammer. You have to condemn that behavior. And the fact that you don't want to condemn that behavior is problematic, right? It's problematic. It's one thing for people to disagree on political issues and all of that. We understand that. We have an adversarial system in the United States, even when you're dealing with court, and we can understand that. But like when things are getting to the point where people are getting hurt and their lives are on the line, that's a totally different conversation, and no one should co-sign on anything like that. This is not, America is not that country where you're supposed to be dying, for your right to, because you disagree with a person political politics. I'm not, I don't like talking about third world countries and all that kind of stuff, because then, that has some like elitist element to that particular conversation. But that's stuff that happens in countries that are not supposed to be democratic, where people are being killed because they don't support the same candidate that someone does, right? Like that's not America. We have free and fair elections. People should be allowed to vote. Even if they disagree with you, you can run your mouth all day, but you're not supposed to be able to put your hands on someone. Nope. And definitely not go into their house and hit them in the head with a hammer. That can never be okay.
And the fact that they haven't said anything, when you don't say anything, you're complicit as well.
I mean, they say some stuff like one of the things that's being said now is that the guy was already in the house. It was some gay lover interaction, and then it kind of went wrong, and then he hit the guy in the head with the hammer. Like, come on now. They're trying to say he didn't break in, he was trying to break out.
The fact that they're trying to flip it, the fact that they're even trying to flip it, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You cannot.
Even if that was the case, you still don't get to hit that old man in the head with a hammer.
Even if that was the case or whatever,
right.
That is a crime. That is a horrendous crime. Okay, and this man could have died based on that alone. The fact that they try to spin it, and the thing what hurts me the most, and I'm using the word hurt because it does, when they spin things, when there's a tragedy and or a horrendous act of violence, that is so troubling and hurtful to me, because when you're dealing with people of color, they have no problem, none whatsoever, labeling and disparaging and allocating and lining up and just making Black people look like they're the worst of the worst. We shouldn't even be in society. But then when they are in a position to condemn something like that, they don't take it. They rather flip it and make it look like it's something else. And then their followers and the people that support them, the community that they advocate for, that advocate for them, they drink that up like it's liquid gold, and you can't tell them nothing.
Yeah.
And there's a clear difference between Republicans and Democrats. Democrats, well, for the most part, most of us really try to see things from different perspectives and try to make sense out of nonsense and try to be collaborative, right? Republicans have their focus is one way, and it's their way or no way. They talk about, they don't know how, they don't do bipartisan, and Democrats don't like the bipartisan. We the main ones sitting here trying to be bipartisan. All day long. We always try to reach across the aisle to kind of think. I think we do it too much, to be quite honest with you. Me and you and our audience, I think we do it too much. I think we need to take some of the plays out of their playbook and kind of work that way too. But they constantly trying to make it look. I mean, there's an ad out that literally says in Georgia that white people are being discriminated against.
I mean, well, there's a reverse discrimination case that's contesting affirmative action in the Supreme Court right now. Some white and Asian students are saying that one of the reasons why they're not getting into certain colleges and universities is because they have a quota for Black folks to get in school. And so the Supreme Court is hearing that case right now. They're going to have an opinion about it that's supposed to come out next year. And they're going to try to see if they're getting rid of affirmative action. The lawsuits are against Harvard University and I believe it's UNC Chapel Hill.
And so, what did you say about affirmative
white people and the Asian people say they're not getting into college because of the number of Black students?
What did you say? Was it on our live the other night? You talked about affirmative action.
I did.
I think when you were at your college, at the college
at law school
you went to. And I thought that was interesting because one of the things you mentioned was they had removed the
year they did blind admission, that when they didn't consider race.
Right.
When they didn't consider race and admitting, Black students, they just didn't consider race at all. The year that they did blind admissions and didn't consider race, they ended up having the highest number of Black students admitted into law school that year than any other year in the history of that school. And you would think they would keep up that energy the next year. They were like, nah, we're going to go back to our quotas. And they went back to the numbers of like the 28 to 32 students per class. But when they did blind admission, they literally admitted like 20 more Black students than they normally did in the biggest class ever.
It goes to show you that while I am all about affirmative action, because I know that the parts of the system doesn't have space for us at all, and that needed to be done in order for us to be in spaces. I think.
I guess some people you got to force them to do the right thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think in under those contexts, yes, and I think that's what is. I think that was the main reason for affirmative action, in my opinion. However, people of color, Black people especially, like our middle name is Overcoming. Like that's where we live. We live in overcoming. We have no choice but to overcome. So because of that, in different aspects of our lives, different aspects of our community, different aspects of where we are in this country, was because we have to do more in order to get a little. Right. And so that goes to show you in the college that you're talking about, we excel, and we excel really well. So, while that's in the courts now, was it you that told me that Ketanji Jackson had to recuse herself from that specific?
Yeah, because she was on the admission. I think she was either on the admission boards of Harvard University, but she was involved somehow in the admissions process for 6 years once she left the school. So she recused herself from that case. Okay. So she couldn't be a part of that case. I don't know
why Clarence Thomas didn't recuse himself, but that's a whole nother.
I mean, he was asking him what does diversity mean? So he said he don't know. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So in terms of along the line of those cases, there was an article that came out that was out like right around, like either I read it a couple of days ago, and it talked about what was the effect, because in California, for example, and I think Florida have gotten rid of, and California, Michigan, I believe Florida have gotten rid of affirmative action to some extent in their decisions to make admissions anyway. So there's some, I know Michigan and California both had affirmative action items on their ballots some years ago, and they had voted to get rid of affirmative action. So they don't have it in Michigan. They don't have it in California. Florida did some version of that. Mm-hmm. And what the article was saying is that once those things happened, and the people in Michigan got tricked, but because how when you read in ballot initiative, by the time you're done reading it, you don't know what you voted for, if you voted for it or against it or whatever it was. But the way they worded it, people didn't realize that that's what they're doing when they voted. But hell, they voted, and it is what it is, right? But then they said, like in California, for instance, the number of people of color have gone, well, black folks, not people of color, because Asians are people of color, but we're talking about black people specifically. They said the numbers have gone down since they got rid of it. And then in Michigan, it was kind of the same, but it did go down a little bit. And for me, that doesn't necessarily mean that less black people are qualified to get admitted to those schools because the numbers are going down. That could just simply mean that the schools, since they know they don't have to admit a certain number of black people, they're just admitting less black people. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not like it's not qualified applicants that are applying, or and that's why they're not getting in. It could just be intentional on the part of the school to just lower the number of folks that they're letting into the school anyway, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what was interesting was that one of the schools that they talked about is Berkeley. UC Berkeley is supposed to be a very liberal school and all that kind of stuff. And then for them to do things like that is kind of like, for real, Berkeley, this is what we're doing? But I digress. We could have another show on another day to talk about liberal white folks. That could be a conversation for a different day. Mm-hmm. But interestingly enough, in Florida, they said it ain't make a difference. Like the numbers are the same, whatever it is, what it is, and it really just didn't have an effect on the number of black students that are in college, going to colleges and universities, and their admissions or whatever. Uh-huh. Maybe that's because we don't have any Ivies in our state. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably why. And not to say that the schools here aren't competitive, because they are, and people do come from out of state to go here, but maybe that's the reason why the numbers really haven't shifted. And also a lot of students who tend to be top tier students in the state tend to leave the state, right? They go away to like a Harvard or Yale or Berkeley or Chicago, places like that. So maybe that's why the numbers in Florida didn't change, because we don't have a school like that. I don't know what it is, but for me, it was interesting to see that Berkeley was one of the schools where their numbers went down, which, and I don't think it should have, because right. I don't think it should have, but it could be because people are, maybe not going to California for one reason or another. But to me, I think that's more as a result of an intentional decision to not admit as many, as opposed to them not necessarily having students of the caliber that can go and graduate from UC Berkeley. Right.
No. I agree with that. So I wanted to show the video of the campaign ad that's happening now in Georgia. And I wanted to kind of do that at the end, because I wanted to have a lasting effect for people to understand why voting.
So we're going to close out with that ad?
Can we do that?
Yeah, okay.
We're going to close out with that ad. I'm going to close out with that ad. No, share screen.
So go vote, people. So we just, before we go ahead and close out with that ad, we want you to just make sure you go vote. Text. The first ask was to text, call 5 of your friends or relatives. Mm-hmm. We're asking you to do 10. I'm actually going through. I've texted some folks already, but I'm gonna go through my phone. So anybody that's in my phone, prepared to get sick of me, because I'm only gonna text y'all once. I'm gonna go ahead and text y'all once. I text y'all twice to make sure y'all voted. But some people are gonna be getting some text messages. I'm gonna try not to do it like in the middle of the night, because I am a bit of a vampire sometimes. So I'm gonna try to do it at a decent hour. But prepare to get a text from me telling you, reminding you. Okay? So be prepared to be reminded that you need to go vote.
Absolutely. Early voting ends November 6th. All right.
Yes, that's Sunday, and they're doing souls. Some of the churches are doing souls. The ones
polls.
that didn't do it last week are doing souls to the polls on Sunday too.
And the NAACP is helping to provide ride shares to get to these early voting sites. I think we have what was the thing I remember? I think we have 21 or something like that.
Voting sites in Broward.
Early voting sites. If you are not sure, and if you don't know, please go to browardvotes.gov. Broward, is it browardvotes.gov or browardvotes.org?
I think it's org, but I'll double check right now.
Okay. That is the supervisor of election of Broward County. I'm almost sure it's .gov. But you can go on there as soon as you open, go onto the website, it automatically pops up with the voting sites because it's early voting.
Yeah, Gov would make sense, right? Because it's a government agency. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's browardvotes.gov. Go on there if you're not sure. They are spread out all over Broward. Get 10 people to come with you. Make it like a day where y'all just you hop in the car.
They have their vote by mail ballot. Just go ahead and drop it off.
Go on and drop that off. And you know how y'all hop in the car to go to the mall or hop in the car to go somewhere, whatever. Y'all hop in the car and listen, you can go do your voting first, then y'all can go to the mall right after. Make it a day. You know what I'm saying? Bring your peoples with you. Bring your peoples. Get your family, your friends. Listen, I'm begging y'all. Please, 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 please go vote. And before we leave,
so we have 90,000 people that early voted already.
That's amazing.
The numbers are going up.
I am excited. I just hope that we continue with the momentum. And hold on one second. So I have it up. I don't want it to play before I turn it on. All right, so let's see. Okay, so good. Here, let me go share it. Now we're gonna leave you with this video, as asinine as it is.
So the vote by mail, the number is 259,000.
That is, oh my God.
So we're at like
Broward County.
50,000 people have voted already in Broward County.
Yes. Amazing. Go on, Broward. Get your early vote on. Loving it. I mailed mines, and I know they accepted mine. So. I'm gonna leave you. We're gonna leave you.
I guess we can only track if we did the vote by mail. We can't track if our actual vote counted if we go into the polling location.
I think you still can.
Okay.
I think you still can. I think it will say that you voted or this person voted already or something like that. I think you still can.
Okay.
But I'll double check so we can tell people. I'll double check. Okay. All right. So. Let me go ahead and share this. I want people to listen to it. This is a real ad in Georgia, a real one. I'm not even playing. It's not fake. It's real. All right.
When did racism against white people become okay? Joe Biden put white people last in line for COVID relief funds. Kamala Harris said disaster aid should go to non-white citizens first. Liberal politicians block access to medicine based on skin color. Progressive corporations, airlines, universities, all openly discriminate against white Americans. Racism is always wrong. The left's anti-white bigotry must stop. We are all entitled to equal treatment under law. America First Legal paid for this ad. What?
I mean,
I think they gonna flag this video. Yo, they gonna probably flag our video because I don't know. We should have been able to play that. That's crazy.
They said universities and hospitals. What? And that's a real ad right now that's on during voting.
Well, you got to watch that on YouTube or they playing that on TV. I want to know where you see that ad.
No, they said it was an ad. It was an ad campaign. It's not on YouTube. It's on TV. Let me see if they put the channel.
I wonder what network. I don't know. I kind of have some problems believing that. I'm not saying it ain't happening, but I can't. I mean, you literally got to be watching infomercials in the middle of the night for that ad to play. Because if they play that ad during like prime time or like during a regular day, that network should be ashamed of themselves.
listen, I mean,
that is
the people in the comments
that's
are
crazy
saying,
talk.
"Is this an SNL skit? This can't be real."
No, I can't. I don't want to believe that.
don't
That
believe
has
it
to be one of those things that play in the middle of the night for people who are watching TV at 3, 4 in the morning. I cannot imagine they play that ad during the day or during prime time. I just can't.
So America's First is the one. America First is the company that did it, the organization. And they are a real organization
and they could be as real as they want to. I just can't imagine a network taking a chance playing an ad like that during the day or during prime time. I believe that ad is. I want to believe that ad is being played in the middle of the night for people that's watching infomercials, if they even still have infomercials. Because I usually watch television on demand, so I rarely watch things when they're actually on. So
I don't watch. I kind of stopped. Like,
so maybe it's on like cable when you're watching. Listen, I don't know, child, but I don't watch the kind that should never be my algorithm. So that one shouldn't ever come up for me. But that ain't
your vote is paramount. Your vote matters. Your vote's your superpower. So we're asking you to make this a priority, and
just go vote, everybody. Take some people with you. All right. So
make sure you take everybody,
all your people with you. Text 10 of your friends and tell your 10 friends to text 10 more of their friends. And we're going to let this word of mouth campaign get people elected. I mean, good folks elected, because we really do need to save our nation, right? Because this democracy is on the ballot. Because there's some candidates that I don't want to know what life going to be like with them in office
at all.
And I don't think you should want to know either. So go ahead, text your friends, get them to text their friends.
Tell your family members in other states that they need to go vote.
Yes. Tim Ryan in Ohio, Sherry Beasley in North Carolina, Raphael Warnock in Georgia, along with Stacey Abrams in Georgia, Marcus Flowers in Georgia, Charles Booker in Kentucky. We got Mandela Barnes in the state of Wisconsin. Wes Moore, I think he's running for governor of Maryland. I can't remember the name of the lady that's running in Arizona. She's running against that Lake lady that's like real kind of on the just a little nuts. She's anti everything. And we also need to vote for. There's a lady in Nevada. Let me get her name.
Carrie Lake is the crazy one. Katie Hobbs. Katie Hobbs is running
in Arizona. So we need to vote for her.
Yeah, Carrie Lake is not. She's not working with a full deck. She's dangerous. But Katie Hobbs is the current governor. Re-elect Katie Hobbs. Is it? Yeah.
And I get so many emails from this woman, but not. And then Catherine Cortez Mastos for your people in Nevada. Tell your people in Nevada to vote for Catherine Cortez Mastos.
Absolutely.
All right. So please
make sure you jump on it.
Gotta get it done.
It's hot. This midterm election is important. All right.
Very, very much so. And if we could just get that Senate like 52 blue, we good. Is the next 2 years gonna be so much? Well, the next because there's senators on the ballot, I think, like every cycle. So the next 2 years will be good. Our Florida person, I don't think Rick Scott will be up until 26. Well, did he win in 18 or in 20? He won in 18. So he'll be up in 24. So in 24, Rick Scott will be up. So we'll have somebody else on the ballot. Well, if we can get Val Demings in there right now, that'll be a good thing. And then we'll see who's going to be running in 24 against Rick Scott. But please, man, those other states, folks in North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, what is his name? Edelman.
Edelman, who's running against Oz,
against Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. We need that. We need that. Like I said, Tim Ryan in Ohio, Sherry Beasley, North Carolina, Charles Booker in Kentucky, Mandela Barnes in Wisconsin. She gave us the name of the woman in Arizona that we need to talk about. I know Mark Kelly is running. I think his Senate seat is up, but he's supposed to be pretty secure. Yeah, I think he's pretty secure that they're not really concerned, but you never know. Just tell people to keep voting for him. But we really need to keep the seats that we have and then get some more blue seats.
Hey, I'm
for
gonna
the
leave
next
you
2
with
years
this.
will be good.
I'm gonna leave
All
you with
right.
the power of the people is always greater than the people in power.
All right. Keep
So
on voting, y'all.
y'all go vote.
And we will see you guys before election day because we're trying to get someone to come in to talk to us on Friday. Hopefully we'll be able to get that candidate on. We'll be in and out on Tuesday, trying to encourage people to vote.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to do a few lives, even though I'll be on somebody's job because people sign my checks these days, so I got to do that. But we'll definitely, and then I'm afraid I'm not going to anybody's watch party because too many people are gonna, I ain't trying to pick no sides, so I'm gonna do my watch party at my house. So I'm not going to anybody's watch party. I'll just watch the results.
I don't never go to anybody's watch party because
I have gone before, but this time I'm not gonna do it.
We do have confirmed for Friday at 5 for one of the candidates. So we'll be talking to them and we'll let you guys know who it is soon enough.
Once we get the flyer and stuff together.
Yep.
All right.
Make sure you guys vote.
All right, please.
Peace.